Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today I have a video that has been requested and I promised you guys it was coming. So it's finally here. I have a very special guest, Mr. Scott Herman.
Hello everyone.
So the video today will be about our relationship. You know, a lot of you are curious about how we met, our age difference, you know, is Scott's Crystal's dad? And we decided we are gonna answer all of your questions today. Babe, you wanna tell them how we met?
Sure. So Erica and I actually met at a gym that I had worked at pretty much my whole life. I started working in a gym when I was 14. It was like 65,000 square feet. It's huge, has a spa. It's a really nice place, so that's why Erica wanted to go there, because it's the nicest gym in the area. She's a little high maintenance like that.
Oh!
Because how old was I when we met?
26.
26. Yeah, so I had, you know, that's 12 years that this has been my stomping grounds. And so then this chick comes in, starts looking cute and working out, and she's gonna come into my club and not be noticed. So like Erica started coming to the gym and like, you know, I know pretty much everyone in the club because I'd worked there for so long. And every single dude is like talking to Erica and hitting on her, and I didn't know at the time because I didn't know Erica, but she would always like be nice and respond. And it's just because she doesn't have that gene to like just be mean to people, which I do have because I'm from, I don't know, the Massachusetts area. I'm from Boston, so I got that Boston gene.
It's true, like I cannot be rude to people. Like I cannot. It's really hard for me to be rude to people. I guess that's how we are in Brazil and how I was raised, and combined with my personality. Like, I never want to make anybody feel bad. But you know how men are, right? Like, you look at them once, they think, oh yeah, she wants it, you know, because I'm the
Well,
boss.
that's how it was for me.
Yeah, right. So, but because I was nice to them and I was never rude and told them off, they would keep coming, right? But I had seen Scott at the gym already, right, baby? Because Scott is very loud and very obnoxious when he works out. So he
Not so much anymore.
Not anymore. He matured. You know, it's been like 7 years, right, babe?
It's been a long time.
He's chilled out, mellowed out quite a bit. But back in the day, you know, he'd be at the gym like grunting and like, you know, talking really loud with his friends. On top of it all, he would go to the gym with this super freaking skanky top that I call nipple covers, which is like a workout top that literally, it's a little string.
It's like the old school, like,
Yeah.
80s tops.
That covered his nipples. So he'd be with
I still
his
got them
goods
too.
all showing, you know, so how can you not notice, right? But I always thought he was very cute, and I would see him parking and coming out of his nice, you know, Camaro. You know, he'd come into the gym like looking like he's the bomb. But, you know, my impression of him was, such a douchebag, you know, like he's in love with himself and he's showing off that car. He's talking really loud to
I'm like a
impress.
peacock, babe.
You are a peacock. I'm totally a peacock.
That's how peacocks attract the mates. They gotta spread their feathers out.
So true, man. But here's the thing. I typically do not go for peacocks, okay? I usually go for like super shy guys, like more quiet, more mysterious. So even though I thought he was super cute, I was like, he's just probably like a complete douchebag.
Yes, but I wasn't. I was actually really nice. So, you know, I wanted to talk to Erica and I wanted to you know, get to know her and ask her name and junk. But like, I knew every single dude in the gym was just up her butt the whole time, and I didn't want to come off that way. So I very strategically waited until she was talking to someone who I knew mutually. And so Erica had been talking to him, and then that's when I made my entrance. And so before I did that, I was at the front desk at the gym talking to my buddy Gondor. And I was like, let me show you how, I go, everyone in the gym talks to this chick. I'm gonna go get her number right now. You ready? And he's like, yeah, okay. I was like, I'll be right back. You know,
What a jackass.
He didn't know I had this plan of waiting until she was talking to Ferris. But so I walk over and, you know, Ferris introduces me and, you know, breaks the ice for me. And I, you know, then we start talking. And then obviously, you know, I get her number. And then... And then I go back to the front desk and I was like, here you go, Gondor. That's how you do it.
So he told me, you know, when he came to talk to me, he was super friendly, whatever. And coincidentally, so that weekend, I was going to New York to meet a friend. And he was also going to New York for an event, right? Because Scott was in the Real World before a long time ago, you know, on MTV. That
Brooklyn, season
Real
21.
World, yeah, Real World Brooklyn on MTV. So he did a lot of like
Speaking
events.
engagements and appearances.
Yeah, appearances, speaking engagements. So he had one in New York, right, babe?
Yeah.
So he like invites me to go with him to New York that weekend. You know, Mr. Nice Guy is like, oh, you're gonna save money if you come with me. I already rented a car.
Yeah, she was gonna drive there by herself. I'm like, just come with me. I've done this trip a million times.
You know, I can give you a ride. You save money and we'll go to the trip together. I'm like, dude, I just met this guy. Like, I'm gonna go travel with him to New York. Like, what the hell, you know?
Yeah, so I told her, well, we'd have a pre-dinner so she doesn't think I'm crazy. And then if she doesn't think I'm crazy after dinner, then we'll go together to New York.
Yeah, so Thursday before New York, he says, well, you know, if I'm not a psycho at dinner, you're gonna see I'm a nice guy and you'll be more comfortable coming to New York with me. So he takes me to Olive Garden.
It's like the nicest place, like within the vicinity of where we live. Like, there's just, you know what I mean? There's just not a lot of really awesome, quick places to go to near this gym.
It's so creative, babe.
I mean, I thought it was like one of the nicer places in the area.
That was a red flag. I should have read the red flag. Real
Wait, you
good.
get free breadsticks. You should be happy.
So we went to Olive Garden and he was indeed very, very nice. And one thing I was worried about was that, oh my God, this guy is like all in love with himself and his muscles, and he's gonna be like one of those guys that are a pain in the butt and don't eat anything, don't drink anything. I don't want somebody like that. Like, seriously, I could not date a guy that cannot have a glass of wine with me or have a drink and eat some food every now and then. I do try to eat healthy most of the time, but I also like to enjoy life. So when he went there and I actually saw him eating bread and, you know, normal stuff. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, I can handle this. You know, I thought he was going to be like a pain in the butt, but he was super nice.
The next day you were at the gym and you tried to run out.
So anyway,
No, you tried to run out on the Olive Garden date. Because we were supposed to go to Olive Garden and you tried running out the door and I was waiting by
that was before Olive Garden.
That was before Olive Garden, yeah. Because she tried to skip out. So she's like working out, I'm talking to her, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go to dinner or whatever. And then, like, she just kind of, like, tries to scoot out the door.
Well, yeah, I was trying to run from him because I knew he was going to talk about New York that weekend and I did not want to go. So he was at the gym. When I finished workout, I tried to kind of, like, low-key escape, you know, get out of the gym so he wouldn't see me.
That gym has mirrors everywhere. I could be, like, in the other room and I could still see where she is.
Oh, my Lord. So, yeah, so he did see me trying to escape and he's like, Erica! I'm like, oh, crap. Okay. So we went to dinner and he was really nice. I could tell he was a really nice guy. You do talk a lot though, babe. Like, you're a talker, man.
I am a talker. I'm a Libra. What do you want from me?
Anyway, so whatever. So he was super nice. And I was like, okay, well, he seems like a nice guy. So we'll go to New York. So we went to New York. I went out with my friends. He went and did his event. And then we met afterwards. And he took me to a fun club.
To Libation on...
Meatpacking District?
No. In the lower side of the city. But anyways, took her to this club that I used to go to all the time because I had lived in New York about a year and a half. And so, you know, we went in and we danced and whatnot. And then Erica couldn't resist and she ended up kissing me while we were dancing.
That is true. Like, we were having a good time, you know, we are dancing and like having the time of our lives, and I'm like, is this dude gonna freaking like kiss me?
I was gonna, but I was gonna wait till later.
I mean, because here's the deal, guys. Like, so in Brazil, you kiss like on the first date, like you totally kiss. You don't do anything extra, you know, to do things extra. It takes a long time, but a kiss is on the first date. Here in the US, I feel like it's a little different. Like, you don't necessarily kiss on the first date, but then on the third date you kiss and then you sleep over the person's house and you do everything. Like, it's not how, so I think there was a little bit of a cultural difference there.
I mean, I was gonna wait till later to kiss you.
But I was like, man, he's looking cute, we are having fun. I am gonna seal the deal. So after, yes, true. After the club, he took me to this place.
There's
to
this
eat
amazing
some
crepes place, like right next door. They make the best crepes. That's why I wanted to take her there because I knew she'd have a good time. You know.
It was amazing. Like we had a blast. And then the next day in the morning, Sunday morning, we came back home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like we were kind of inseparable ever since. Like we talked every day.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, yeah, this guy is like younger than you and he's a punk or whatever, but like I feel like Scott is like an old soul. I feel that about Scott and about my daughter as well, that they are both like old souls.
That's why we fight so much.
Because you're the same.
Yeah.
And he was always very reliable. You know, if he said he was gonna call me this date at 2 o'clock, he would call me at that date. Whenever I texted him, he replied back. You know how people are so flaky, you know, nowadays, and you play so many games and a guy says he loves you and then he disappears, you know, like I feel like with us, it was not like that at all. Like he was always really reliable and I like that. Like I am not a person that likes bad guys. I never have, never will. If you are a jackass, that's not gonna make me fall in love with you more. It's gonna make me wanna kick you to the curb, you know? And Scott just proved to me all the time that he was like a guy of his values and he had word and he was always very reliable, and that was really impressive to me, and I think that's why I stayed.
Yeah, and I mean, even at 26, I was just sick of all the bullshit, you know, with dating. And I tell Erica, she laughs, but she knows it's true. Like, I would date girls and I would send a text and I get like a response like a day later. And I would text back and be like, listen, you're either, you know, the only woman in the world who doesn't check her phone every 10 minutes, or you really didn't see this text. Either way, I'm done, bye. And they'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm like, I don't want to hear your excuse, like, I'm not playing this game. That's how I was at that point in my relationship. Like, I just wasn't dealing at all. Unfortunately, I think it made those girls want to hang out with me more because they liked the jackass, but I was only being a jackass because I was done.
I just feel like with us, things were a little more straightforward, and he was always really nice. We just kind of stuck together, you know, all the time. And then the other thing is the age difference is something that you guys bring up a lot on the comments. But it was something that never really bothered us. Like, we talk about this all the time. Like, we don't even think about the age difference at all.
Yeah.
Like, when you saw me, though, you knew I was older than you were.
I thought you were like late 20s, early 30s.
But you knew I was older
I knew you were older.
Because you were 26.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking for an older woman, so.
Ah, you wanted a cougar to pay your bills?
No, just wanted a no bullshit chick.
I mean, I obviously knew he was younger than me, which made me very skeptical at first. But I think he won me over with time because, like I said, I noticed that he was very different than any other guy, or even guys my age or older, because a lot of guys are just freaking flaky. And he was younger, he was better than all of these other older guys, you know? So that, I think, won me over time. But why did you want an older woman, though?
You know, when you're trying to date and find someone, you know, I just felt like in girls, like, you know, in their mid-20s, they just play a lot of games. They don't really know what they're looking for. Most haven't really gone out and experienced life yet or traveled much. I feel like other cultures, you travel more at a younger age and you experience more cultures at a younger age. You just grow up a bit differently, a bit more respectful, a bit more, I guess, down to earth. Where, I mean, I would went on a date with a girl and she's like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, oh, I'm basically an entrepreneur because I do a lot of different businesses. And she's like, what's an entrepreneur? And I was like, all right, date's over. I just wanted to find someone who I could have intelligent conversations with, someone who had a career of their own, so it wasn't gonna be this thing of where we grow up and I'm the only one providing for the family. Like, you need to be a team. And, you know, it's so true. They say, you know, behind every strong man is a strong woman, and vice versa. And you need that in a relationship, especially for what I do for a living. If Erica wasn't by my side most of the time, you know, I wouldn't have anybody to bounce ideas off of or support me or, you know, really have my back. When I was looking for an older woman, I was looking for someone to fill that gap. Like, you know, women, you know, you can find women that are beautiful and fun to hang out with and do stuff with, but like that missing element for me was just finding a woman who just had like a drive, you know, and really had her goals, you know, in line and was pursuing them. I guess that was one of the most attractive things to me, is just, what do you do for a living? What are you going to school for? What kind of job? Like, I wanted to find someone who had the same kind of drive I had to keep up with me.
I agree with that, and I think that was another thing that I admired about him too, was exactly that, because he was already successful. He had, He had successful businesses. He was very driven, maybe a little bit of a workaholic even, all right, babe?
Yeah, a little
He's
bit.
much better now. I think like he mellowed out over the years and he's very good about quality time, but he was a very much a workaholic. And to me, I wanted someone like that was very driven, because I have big dreams, you know. If I didn't have big dreams, I wouldn't be in the US, I wouldn't be an engineer. And I just wanted somebody, like he said, to like complement me so we could together be like a force, you know, like that's what I really wanted. Like, you know, when you think about a couple and there's not one person that's really amazing and the other one drags the other one down, I wanted like a balanced relationship where we both have dreams and drives and we have so much life to live together and things to create and explore. And I felt like he was that for me. We complement each other because like my job is very serious. I'm an engineer. I work for corporate America. He has an independent business. He does YouTube, and he brought like a different element to my life that I didn't have, you know. So I feel like that to me was like, wow, he has his shit together more than most 40-year-olds that I know. I was very happy to see that together we just got better. The other thing I wanted to address is one person one time said Scott was a gold digger. Remember I told you that? So this person on my Birkin video, when I'm giving tips to score a Birkin, a person left a comment and said, oh, so did you have to also get in line and build a relationship with your mother-in-law so you could buy your husband? And then, you know, we went back and forth because obviously when I see comments, most of the time I cannot stay quiet. I have to react. So in the end, she said Scott was a gold digger, you know, and it's funny because people think, oh, okay, he's younger than her. She has to be a cougar that's paying all the bills. And it's not the case at all. Actually, Scott makes more money than me, quite a bit more money, and I'm pretty successful, but he makes quite a bit more money than me. He pays all the bills in the house, which is why I can buy fabulous luxury items to share with all of you.
Yeah, I get to pay all the bills. She gets to buy purses.
Yeah, you see that?
It's a great
I'm good with this
model.
deal, babe. I'm good with this deal. But it's not the case at all. Like, we are a very normal couple. We kind of do things together. We have 50-50 responsibility on decisions around the house. And I think that's the other piece that works, is that we are both very A+ type personalities.
Oh, yeah.
So there's not one side, I think, that dominates. You know, yeah, we butt heads.
Yeah, we do.
Because we both want to be the boss. But I feel like in a way, that is nice to be balanced and not have a person that kind of lets the other reign all alone and make all the calls. Because I think you do need a little bit of challenge for the relationship to be exciting. So I like that about us, because I think that also makes us help each other. He helps me on my YouTube. He's very supportive of all the crazy things I do on the side of my job. And I try to help him as much as I can with his business.
Our biggest difference is you're more of a realist than I am.
Yeah, Scott is like a total dreamer.
Yeah, I'm just like, whatever, I'll get it done.
Which drives me crazy because, you know, since I am an engineer, it's for a reason, people. I am a planner to a level of detail that is psychotic. I like everything very structured. I'm very realist. Scott is very a dreamy kind of guy. You know, he thinks all of these crazy things are possible, and he kind of goes on the whim with everything. So we argue a lot about that because I'm not like that at all. Like,
you should see her at the airport. Like, she's always such a like ball of stress at the airport.
I plan our vacations on like Excel. You know, that should tell you a lot. Like, to a T, each day, what are we doing, all of our transfers, whatever, like, which for me that is actually fun. But not having things planned generates a lot of stress for me, and Scott is a complete non-planner.
I just have more fun like having a general idea of what I want to do and then make it happen. That's how I was brought up. That's how my family is. It's how my dad used to take us on
drives me nuts.
used to take us on trips all the time. We would just go do stuff.
That drives me nuts, man.
I know it drives you nuts, but when it comes to work and it comes to building things, I'm a good planner,
Yeah.
which is why you still haven't posted the video, but I built this closet she puts all of her crap on that you guys see all the time.
That is actually another thing that I love about him. I feel like Scott is one of the last few guys in the world that can actually do things with his hands, so he can build things. He's good with wood. My closet, I designed it. Like, I did the engineering drawings with all of the dimensions that I wanted, how I wanted the shelving, and etc. And he just built it for me. You know, whatever I want around the house.
And then we go to to Home Depot and you're like, did you measure that? I'm like, nah, it'll work.
But
I eyeball it. I'm like, yeah, this is good.
This is good, but it turned out really good, and I think
out perfect.
He's like a manly man that is, on top of having like a career. I feel like he's good with his hands, and he makes me feel like he takes care of problems, and I feel like always really protected. He fixes all of our cars. Like, he just takes care of everything, and he enjoys it. I feel like it's not a labor. Like, he misses when we don't have a home project going on.
Yeah. Pretty
right?
much, yeah.
What do you think is important to make a relationship work? What would it be?
When you actually find somebody who you're starting to jive with and click with, you just got to make sure you never settle. I mean, obviously, any relationship, there's going to be things that you like and don't like, and relationships...
You compromise.
Yeah, you compromise. Like, there's always going to be a list of things that you probably don't like as much. Like, if you find somebody that completely fills the criteria of everything you have ever wanted, they're probably an axe murderer on the side. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. The relationship is going to work. It's going to be the one that best fits your lifestyle, and you have a balance of things you like and don't like, and that's kind of there's things that Erica and I like and don't like about each other, but that's kind of like how we jive, it keeps things interesting, and it keeps us on each other's toes, which is good. I just think one of the most important things is when you guys first meet, make sure you establish, clear boundaries of things you like to do and don't like to do. The beginning of the relationship is where you set all of your boundaries that are going to establish the rest of the relationship. Don't you agree?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And I agree that it's important not to settle. I think a lot of people, and I think women are terrible at doing this, because I see all of my friends. I think women, a lot of the times, we are so in love with the idea of being in love and having a boyfriend or getting married that you just kind of hang on to any guy that is willing to propose or that's willing to stay with you. And you can't do that. Like, you have to...
You lose a piece of yourself if you settle.
Yeah, exactly. You cannot settle. You have to wait for the right person. If you're with the wrong person, then you have to have the courage to leave so you can find the right one. I was in a marriage of 13 years. I was not looking for a relationship when I met Scott at all. It was actually a big surprise. I wanted time by myself and, kind of regroup and enjoy life. But if I did not leave my previous relationship, I wouldn't be here today. And it was not easy, because ending a 13-year-old marriage is not easy. It doesn't matter if both want to do it, if neither wants to do it. It doesn't matter. Divorce sucks, But if you are not happy, life is so short, man. You gotta be happy. So if the guy's not right for you, just because you want to get married, don't stick with him. Go find the right guy.
Every relationship is gonna have sacrifices that you have to make, obviously, but there should be sacrifices you make to make things better, not sacrificing part of your personality and who you are just so someone will stick around, because that's what's going to lead to you not being happy, or leading to you wanting to eventually just take off, or you just stick around and your quality, like, you're just not happy your entire life. I mean, my mom's been remarried 3 times. And for her, the 3rd time was the charm. Ever since she's been with her husband now, Tom, I've never seen her, like, literally one day where she's been upset. She has just been, like, all smiles, energy, happy.
Always happy.
Like, all the time. So I guess that's the biggest lesson, is always be yourself and find somebody that clicks with you, not somebody that you have to change yourself to be with, because that's going to lead to just a road that's going to end horribly. For
people that are together for a long, long time, what do you think is important to make it work long term?
Well, having an Xbox definitely helps. At least in our house. Well, one of the biggest things is you have to make sure, like I said, that you don't settle. You have to find someone that allows you to be yourself, and they can be themselves, and by being yourself, you'll start to do a lot of the things you like, they'll do things they like, and you'll kind of push each other outside of your comfort zones to bring more experiences to your life.
I think for me, what I think is important for a relationship to work long term is that you have to keep things fresh, and you have to keep things sexy, and you still have to make each other a priority. Like, I think if you get too comfortable, the routine kind of slowly creeps in and you do not realize, and then one day you kind of notice that you have become roommates, and you're just kind of 2 friends living together. And that is a big concern for me, not to let that happen with our relationship. Like, I am lucky because Scott is very affectionate. He's very touchy. He likes affection. He likes hugging and kissing. And I am the same. Like, we're always very physical with each other, lots of physical contact. Even though we've been together for 7 years, married for 2, but together for 7. I think that's very important, guys. Like, you have to act like you're dating still, because if you let that die slowly, I feel like the connection and the physical connection just dies. You cannot not have a physical connection with the person you're with. I mean, bottom line.
And you still gotta let each other do like things you like to do on your own. Like, I'm a gamer. I love to play video games, and Erica doesn't get mad when I play, but I also don't just leave her and go play every night. Like, only maybe a few times a week I'll do it. And, you know, she's like, oh, go play your game and have fun. And I'll tell her, go to your closet and play with your purses and crap.
No, I do that because I know Scott is a workaholic, and I know that playing games for him is his way to decompress and kind of like disconnect. There's 2 things he's crazy about: games and movies, you know. So sometimes I can
But you like to watch movies.
I like watching movies, so that's something we do together. But the games, like, I will tell him, hey, you want to go play games or whatever, or I'll go out with Crystal, or sometimes I'll hang out with him or just let him do his thing. But I know it's something that he likes, that de-stresses him. And on the other hand, Scott is very supportive of the things I do in my YouTube channel and my passion for fashion. He films me, he takes photos of me, he helps me with everything.
Like, if we go to the mall for 4 or 5 hours, you bet your ass I'm playing video games when we get home.
Oh, thank you.
Her and Crystal like, look at this pink, look at this pink. I'm like, it's all pink.
That's why I let you play video games, see? I'm nice like
exactly.
that. But I think, you know, that is important, that you support each other's passion. The key is really, you know, keeping the passion alive.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta keep it alive.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned a little bit more about us, right, babe?
Oh, yeah. And if we missed anything, you can leave those questions down. Maybe we can collect a few.
Hopefully you're not going to be called a gold digger anymore.
I hope not.
Well, thank you so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know if you have requests for future videos, and I'll see you next time on the next video. Love you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.